another Jewish man come up and say and call for the extinguation of an entire race. Kill all the Palestinians and their children. That's exactly what he said. And I'm like, wait a second, you don't represent the Jewish community, right? But if I call him a racist, I get excommunicated. I hold the mirror up to a certain community, I'm the bad guy. I think that's bullshit. Why is the Jewish community so fucking hypersensitive to criticism? And it's not just hyperbolic criticism, it's real life lived experience. So with that, let me say good morning to, I have to say hello to B because she'll beat me up if I don't. What's up, B? B, are you there?
I'm here. That's not true, JP. You know, that's not true. Just kiss.
What's not true?
I'm not gonna beat you up. Snuggle. That's it.
Okay,
stop.
Snuggle.
Exactly. We already are.
Got you. Thank you, B. Blake, how you doing, Blake? Long time no speak, man.
Man, good morning. Good morning, JB. I just want to say Jewish people make the greatest public defenders for blacks. So, but anyhow, the what you just heard, the exchange between the moderator and the other guy is a prime example, and he did say something that I think is missed and needs to be learned on these discussions is don't commit to how he said don't commit to arguing with people who are committed to misunderstanding you, and that is a tactic. That's a tactic. And it's a problem, especially in the black community, with this deliberate poor comprehension in conversation. Like they just have no comprehension skills. Like this man just laid it out, told him his personal background and how he personally loves his community, and that he loves his community so much that he holds his community accountable. But he still comes back with the same argument as like he never stated that. And that's that kind of deliberate misunderstanding that's used as a tactic to do away with the substance of what the opposing argument is putting up. And that shit right there, like at some point, we got to start getting like people like Sig that just say, man, fuck what you talking about. I don't care what you talking about. I said what I said, and that's what it is. Because the truth stands alone. The truth don't need no packaging. It is what it is.
JB, can I ask you something?
If you'd ask me anything you like, you may not like the answer.
No, I'm not sensitive. But I have friends that are also Jewish and friends that are Israeli, and they have a very similar experience to you. They always get called self-hating Jews whenever they disagree with any small thing within the community. And I just think it's interesting that you're calling it out because you're from, I'm guessing, from the US, and they're in Israel, and they're facing the same problem. Yeah. So my question is, do you think it... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to. Go ahead.
Do you think it's intrinsic, like something that's embedded deep in the Jewish community, or do you think it's something that's happened recently?
I think it's been historically. And listen, I don't speak for all Jews, and I'm not saying all Jews are racist. That's not my point. My point is they have no problem with racism until it comes back to them. So, and I'm just speaking on my lived experience, what I've seen, what I've heard, what I've been around. But there's great Jews. There's bad Jews too. See, that's the thing, Chantel. We are the most hypersensitive group in the world.
Exactly.
Can't say shit about us.
Mm-hmm. And they're quick to ostracize each other, from my observation.
Okay, no argument for me. Let me say good morning to David. David, how you doing?
Oh, is JB the fucking master of everything? The gaslighting master of everything. Here we go.
That's what you came to the stage to say?
Yeah, listen to everyone. Everyone listen to what he has to say. He's the gaslighter. He knows what everyone wants to know.
I know you're an asshole.
And I know that you're a gaslighting piece of shit, mate.
Wait, why are you attacking him? What's going on?
Because he's
Don't
a
talk to
gaslighter.
him like that.
Do not listen to him. He's a gaslighter. No matter what
Okay, you can disagree
you have
with
to
him, but you can say
say, he will
respectfully.
gaslight the fuck out of you. The guy is a piece of shit.
And when did he gaslight you?
Huh?
Do you feel
When did he
better
gaslight
now?
you?
Oh, we hate each other. I think he's a piece of shit, this guy.
I don't have enough energy to
Living in
hate
America,
you.
white.
I don't have enough energy to hate you.
I think he...
I don't have enough energy to hate you. You're irrelevant, bro. On this app and in real life.
Don't call me bro, mate. I'm not your fucking brother. I think you're a piece of shit.
Okay, you can think that he's a bad person, but
look at all the people in your room that you are happily... All the people in your room that you are happily gaslighting. Go on, mate.
How is he
Keep going.
gaslighting
Keep
if he
going.
has
I'll
different
listen. I'll
opinions?
listen to...
You're not proving no point, though. How is he gaslighting? Break it down, bro. Like, give us some knowledge.
Listen to him talk.
Okay, I've been listening to him talk and he's disagreed with me on several points. How is this gaslighting?
Oh, just listen. Just let it go for 5 minutes and listen to the way he talks to people.
Do you need a hug? You okay?
We've been in here a little longer than 5 minutes.
Yeah, I bet. And I bet he's gaslighted every one of you. I bet he's made every one of you his bitch. I bet he
He really has it, brother. I think he...
Nah, bro.
You told me
You
a
watch,
bitch.
he will. You watch, he does.
I think he just had a few...
He's a calculated little bitch, this guy.
I think you're under the influence of some substances.
So this is me, right?
Absolutely not.
I often say, you know what a hater is? A hater is somebody that hates you for no reason.
Like in my country, a hater is someone that hates.
Hold on a second, I got you.
But I hate
this dude
guy.
can't even state his claim.
I bet this guy.
He needs to tell me what did JB? What did he say?
$1 million
to make you think he's a gaslighter?
Okay, Ozzy, mate, why do you think he's a gaslighter? Give us an example.
Right, give me an example. Break it down.
Yeah, just keep listening. You'll see. Now that
listening,
I'm listening, you're
Hold on.
I'm supposed to listen to a guy that sounds like a leprechaun off Lucky Charms.
Just listen
telling me to fucking
and you'll
listen to
see.
JB. I know JB, but I'm supposed to listen to a guy that sounds like a leprechaun. Tell me, just listen. Like, give me the pot of gold, man. Stop playing with us.
Yeah,
He's
Evie,
not
could you imagine if we...
Irish, he's Australian.
Could you imagine, Evie?
Well, give me the kangaroo, man.
Now that I've brought it to your attention, listen and see.
If you say you don't like someone, you have to say why.
Thank you.
I've said what?
Yeah, Evie, could you imagine if we ran our... Could you imagine if we ran our justice system like that?
This JB guy is a disease.
Evie,
You listen to him.
Okay,
Evie,
you're acting like
Evie, Evie, could you imagine if we ran our justice system like that, where you didn't have to provide a shred of evidence? The only thing you had to say, well, just look at him and you'll see. Okay, guilty. Like we don't operate like that.
Clear.
Yeah, but I don't think you should be mentioning the American justice system, which is very flawed and
Listen
terrible.
to the man. Listen to it.
I'm going to talk so you can listen. So I've sat here for, 10 minutes, didn't say a word, but you notice how my other speakers stood right up for me? Maybe because I bring value. Maybe you're just an idiot that's jealous.
Maybe
you're just jealous. Listen, maybe you're just jealous. Maybe you're just jealous I have a bigger dick than you. So why don't you sit around and listen and tell me if I gaslight?
Pause.
Okay?
Is that why you hang around black people so much, JB?
I'm not even touching that.
Pause. That sounded super homo. Like, fuck out of here with that. Yo, but shout out to the white leprechaun guy that spoke. What the fuck is wrong with
Stop saying leprechaun. He's not Irish. He's Australian.
I don't give a damn what he is. He still sound like a leprechaun to me.
Yeah, because...
Like, what are you, Carmen San Diego and shit? What you a fucking GPS and shit? Shut your ass up.
Because you're American.
You sound like a leprechaun.
Hold on a second. But did you notice that you came up on the stage and you're the one that's gaslighted the room?
I wouldn't care if he was from Idaho. He still sound like a leprechaun.
Not Idaho.
He still sound like Count Dracula. JB, quit gaslighting me, bro.
King, you killing me. I don't want any stress for JB because I don't want him to wrinkle, okay? Keep it calm, keep it moisturized.
I moved him down so we can go on with the conversation because if you really listen to what he was saying, he's the one that gaslighted the room, coming up on stage with all that smoke and all that bullshit, but has no receipts on what he's saying. He's gaslighting. But if you guys want to bring him back up, be my guest. It's just going to derail the conversation. But let me say hello to David. David, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. So kind of my viewpoint on a couple things. I have two things. I think people can change. I used to make certain comments and quotation mark jokes. Now I realize they weren't really jokes. They were, racist shit. I mean, I wasn't really trying to be racist. I was just being small-minded and had a lot of self-hate. And also, a lot of that was living in Chicago. Chicago, in my opinion, is very segregated. There's a lot of hidden racism in Chicago. And it wasn't until I moved out of Chicago and started moving around the country, it kind of opened me up and started doing my own work. So that's one point. Another thing is I think the groups, in my opinion, in my experience, that could be the most bigoted, racism, entitlist are the super religious. Not everyone. There's a lot of super religious people that are great people. But I'm talking about whether it's Mormon, whether it's Jewish, whether it's Catholic, whether it's Baptist. Who gives a shit who someone marries? I'm not attracted to guys, but if I was, who gives a shit? And yet, why shouldn't someone else try to tell me who I should marry? And that goes to a lot of things. I mean, I think there's a lot of entitlism to people that are very religious. And as I said, whether it's Jewish, Catholic, Mormon, and when I lived out west around some diehard Mormon people, holy shit, talk about the entitlism. And, I'm sure that I could deal with the same thing if I moved to a highly Jewish community or highly Catholic community. I'm technically in Chicago, the Catholic Irish, and I know the Irish have their own issues with, suppression, all that. But same thing, I think the super religious are more likely, not everyone, to be super entitled and bigoted, racist, whatever you may want to call it.
Thank you, David. Let me say good morning to, I skipped her and I didn't mean to. Good morning, Nye. How you doing?
Good morning. I came in here and, man, I'm just in the background cracking up. This room is wild on any given day. And shout out to King. When I came in, King was dropping the fire. But listen, I just want to say shout out to the Jews. The best cup of coffee I ever had was my accidental visit at a Jewish day school when I was living in LA for 20 years.
Nye, I'm sorry. I have to address something real quick, and then I apologize. So my friend, you piece of shit, what happened? You got 3 people in your room with my name in the title as a grifter? Is that what happened? Nobody gives a fuck? You're irrelevant? How about that? You're fucking irrelevant. You always have been. You're a fucking racist, and you're a disgrace to the Jewish community. So, why don't you be a fucking man and fucking learn and listen? I'm not triggered. People will tell me open the room, and I said, you know what I said? I don't give a fuck. They'll get 4 people in there, and that's what happened. You're a loser. You always have been. You always will be. Keep your fucking racist remarks to yourself. I'm sorry, not.
Shout out to Nye. Hey, if we could, bring him back up, too. If you could, Jack.
What I have to say is nothing to do with nothing. I just want to acknowledge the best cup of coffee I ever had was by a Jew. I wonder if they harvested those beans from the Dead Sea. So shout out to the Jews with the secret coffee.
I hate you so much. I hate you so much.
There's drama because I was in that room. I saw the headline. I was like, wait a minute. I've seen Homeboy in this space. So what the hell's happened between Homeboy and JB? So I'm going to go on mute and let Homeboy...
Yeah, bring him back up since he wants to act like a little bitch. Because you do, bro. Every time JB do a room, you act like you're better than the host. You don't even have any fucking class. I never met a more low-class white man than my friend. You act like a bitch, bro. And you got a Batman suit on, really Robin. You look bad. Come up here with some respect and have the conversation.
Well, here's the thing. He'll say, let's have a conversation, but then he'll come off mic every 2 seconds when he disagrees with somebody. And then he likes to make fun of black people, which I'm not cool with.
Yeah, because he doesn't have the IQ to really have a conversation with a black person that doesn't agree with him, and that's why he spoke over Nicole, which proves that he's really dumb. If he was smart, he would have more self-control, and he would let somebody converse with him. But he can't do that, JB. I'm sorry. He ate lunch at school with a helmet on. He was clearly in a slow class.
I agree, but before we bring him back up, before you guys bring him back up, I want to have dialogue with Caliph. Rabbi, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you, Jay?
I'm great. You're a little bit in the matrix. Rabbi, respectfully, have I lost my Jew card today?
Can you hear me, Jay?
Yes, sir. I can hear you clearly. I asked you, have I lost my Jew card today because I called out what I see my lived experience? You must still be in the matrix because I can't hear you now.
Or you must have lost your Jew card.
You know, parts of the Jewish community are quite intolerant. So don't worry about the gatekeeping.
Oh, Rabbi, respectfully and with grace and love, I don't care what. They've never accepted me. They never will. But I think it's our responsibility if we see something in our community to call out that part of the community. And that's the problem they have. Because let's keep it real, Rabbi. The Jewish community is hypersensitive to any criticism.
It's we're on guard right now. That's true. That's true.
But when I say, and it's just my opinion, Rabbi. My opinion should be irrelevant to everybody. But if you're doing the same thing over and over again, it's the definition of insanity. So when we're in Gaza, right, to 2 years later, I understand it's guerrilla warfare.
Isn't this what he's doing?
To me, it's just not working out. We need a different plan. I'm not Jewish enough because I should support Israel blindly, and I can't live like that.
No, I can't live like that either. And I think if you really ask individuals, right, and not sort of like groups, and certainly not in these like public forums, but like in real relationship one-to-one, I think you'll find much more nuance and much more diversity. In public, there's a defense, right? There's people feel like they need to defend against the Jew haters, right, in public. But I think in private, people are people, and they have complicated views about these things.
Well, let me ask you a question, Rabbi, and be honest. Have I been one of the biggest supporters of Israel and the Jewish community on this app since October 7th?
In my opinion, yes.
And your opinion matters to me, but
so I guess before October 7th,
that's never going to be enough for our community. Because I call out what I see inside our community. So because I held a mirror up, I'm not a Jew. I'm a self-hating Jew. It just doesn't make sense, Rabbi. As a
Harry
Jew,
Balzac, I would just encourage you to read a book today. Go to the gym because this is all literally.
When I look to the
just everything is projection here. It's like the definition of insanity. He literally just said it is. This is a psych ward. This is like for people who didn't graduate college and they're still stuck at the high school level, basically.
Which is a big miss.
And we know he definitely didn't go to college.
Thank you, Rabbi. I'm going to bring Zach.
He was a pimp. He went to jail for pandering, for literally organizing fucking prostitution. He's a federal felon.
See the dialogue I just had with Caliph? He's really a rabbi.
I saw the articles about it.
I have respect for this guy. So
Breska's not a Jewish last name.
He's not Jewish. He's a grifter. He stirs the shit pot. That's what he does. He's a con man.
Will come up on stages and say the most disparaging thing about another community.
And people love this shit. I don't know why they love it.
It's because he organizes Jew hate.
Shut up. See, you can't. Oh, that's it. Just the N-word.
And just for black people, like he wants to be black so badly.
He organizes all forms of hate. The guy is a fucking hate organizer.
It's okay to insult me personally.
It's crazy, bro.
Yeah, you also opened the room about me, which I think is stupid.
I was asking the clubhouse community if you're a grifter.
He said, I'm not triggered. But you opened a room about me.
Apparently, I'm not. Because I put my Cash App in. So wait, it's okay that this app monetizes themselves, but I've been doing this for 5 years for free. My time is not as valuable as anybody else's. I shouldn't ask for people, if you enjoy the conversation, donate to my Cash App.
Yeah, it's just my opinion.
Okay. Your opinion, you don't speak for the Jewish community just like I do.
I never said that I do.
Okay, so when you come up here with your little accents trying to make fun of the black voice, when you come up here and drop the N-word, and then the blowback comes onto the Jewish community because of people like you, you think it's funny.
I don't think that, I understand that as a Jew, I'm an ambassador to the Jewish community, but I think if you have a bad experience with me and you judge all Jews as a result of that bad experience, that makes you a racist, and it's not my responsibility.
Oh, man.
For example, I have bad experiences with black people on this app sometimes, but it doesn't translate into me hating all black people. So that's kind of the comparison there.
Oh, shit.
You know what?
Honestly, I didn't have anything to say, JB. An hour ago, I came in the room and you mentioned my name immediately, and you said that I took away your Jew card. I came off mute to say, I never took away your Jew card, and you instantly moved me to the audience and started shitting on me.
You know why I moved you?
Are you Jewish, JB?
No, I have no idea why you moved me to the audience.
Because you don't shut up and you interject at the wrong times.
Well, but everybody does that on this app, and you only move me.
You more than most people. Stop being so hypersensitive.
Well, I guess that you're triggered by something that I do, and I'm sorry.
No, you're not, because you'll continue to do it.
Yes, I just said I was sorry, and I get to decide if I'm sorry or not. I said I'm sorry, and you can't take that away from me. I'm sorry, JB. I didn't mean to upset you.
Thank you for your apology. You didn't upset me. You're irrelevant. Yes, Keegan, I'm Jewish.
All right, well, I think you're a manipulative narcissist.
But wait. I open rooms that people come to. You open rooms.
We come here to gawk and laugh at you. I mean, I listen to you while I'm doing the dishes in my apartment, taking a shower.
Yeah, but you still come.
Yeah, I come to a lot of rooms on Clubhouse. I go listen to Amir the terrorist as well. Hey, you can't let me talk every time. Okay, you notice how you can't have a conversation.
That's right.
I'll stay on mute. You keep talking.
What makes Amir a terrorist?
I'll stay on mute. You keep talking.
I will.
Freedom of press.
I didn't say terrorist. I said terrorist supporter, but because JB wouldn't let me talk, you didn't hear what I had to say.
So let me go to Keegan. Again, Keegan, you want to ask about my Judaism? You want to see my circumcised cop?
Well, I mean, just because I'm circumcised doesn't mean I'm Jewish. But circumcision is actually just in America a very aesthetic thing. I think like 75% of all males are circumcised in America. But I thought, and maybe again, now I feel like I'm wrong. I thought we had a distinct conversation back when October 7th happened that you are just a pro-Zionist, not Jewish, but you are now stating that you are Jewish. I just want to make sure I'm clear. I thought you weren't, and now this is just news.
I'm so glad that I have to answer to you. Actually, on October 7th, and then on, before October 7th, I never played my Jew card. You know why? Because of anti-Semitism on the app, and that allowed me to get into spaces hold on, let me finish. That allowed me to get into spaces that most Jews aren't allowed in. I want to hear what people were saying and who I could trust.
Here comes the heat.
So if my Judaism bothers you somehow, that's a you problem, not a me problem.
Oh, no, I'm not saying it bothers me. I truly was just...
He just remembers a little.
Lack of knowledge.
I lacked the knowledge of what? My lived experience?
I lacked the knowledge of you being Jewish. Not saying that you being Jewish is wrong. I'm just saying I did not have that knowledge, and now I do. And I was just clearing that up, make sure
See, I'll tell you what. I'll give you some. I'll change the title. JB's a proud Zionist Jew. Would that give you the knowledge?
No, I'm not saying anything. You're making it more serious than it is. I just thought that you.
Because I don't understand why. I don't understand why I have to answer to somebody like you.
Well, you don't. I'm just saying. I thought.
Okay, then what? I asked the question. I'm an Italian Jew. I know the world is. It's hard to see that Italians could be Jews. My father was Italian. My mother was Jewish. Would you like my 23andMe DNA test?
No. I'm not disclaiming that you are Jewish. I'm just now I know that you are Jewish. I didn't know you were Jewish. I thought you were just a pro-Zionist this whole time.
Okay, I don't even understand what the point of me having to prove my Judaism is, but that's fine. Anyway, let's go on.
It's because if you make a claim, you should back it up with some evidence.
You're on here saying, I'm a Jew, and I think Jews are the most racist group in America, which is an insane thing to say.
I also said...
And then you say, hit me in the Cash App.
It also says, well, Jews like money, right? Isn't that the narrative?
Well, that's a really weird thing to say, too.
See, that's why you have no mic control. That's why I move you down. Because you're a fucking idiot. What you have to say is more important. You say a statement, then I come back to say something about your statement, but you can't shut the fuck up.
Jabreska's psychopathology on full display.
On October 7th, I claimed my Judaism. You know why? Because Jews needed an ally. I'm a Jew. I stand with my people. But I'm also, as a Jew, entitled to call out my community. Why can blacks open rooms and criticize themselves, but a Jew can't open a room and criticize my community? How does the fuck does that work? It's bizarre to me. You know, and it's my lived experience. If people have a problem with my lived experience, that's on you, not on me. I don't give a fuck. I call out what I see and what I've experienced. Now, I didn't say all Jews are racist. I said my lived experience has seen racism from the Jewish community. So now people want to pull my Jew. Oh, he just claimed to be a Jew. Yeah, because it wasn't safe to be a Jew on this app. Do you get it? It wasn't safe. There were little pockets of Judaism on this app that was very secular. But then October 7th happened and real men had to stand up. And that's exactly what I did. thousands of rooms about pro-Zionist, thousands of dollars raised for
thousands of rooms. That's a lot of time, JB.
But let's all forget that. I'm a grifter, right, Zach? I made $200 in this app in 5 years. What's that? What's the stats on that? Does I put my fucking Cash App in? I'm a grifter, you piece of shit. My time is as valuable as anybody else. And let me tell you something, man. It takes a lot of work to run these rooms. You think it doesn't have to deal with assholes like you who are mentally disturbed and should be taking some kind of Zoloft.
Ooh.
Yeah, you are a piece of shit. My app keeps glitching, man. So let me do a quick room reset. This is Healthy Debates. The world's on fire. Bigots, racists, reprobates.
It's not that healthy.
I sent a statement this morning that set this app on
Super
fire.
Unhealthy Debates by Jay Breska.
What community have I seen to be the most racist in what community? I said the Jewish community because that's my lived experience. I've heard it, I've seen it, I've lived it. And I'm not saying all Jews are racist. I'm saying the ones that I've been around. Okay? So if that triggers some of you people, you want to take my Jew card, be my guest.
He's giving up his J card.
Jews, and they're going to come after us forever. I'm going to stand down and let you guys be fucking deal with it yourself. Good morning, CEO.
Hey, good morning, all. Good morning, all.
It's just fucking hypocrisy, man. We're open rooms. We could talk about the black plight and what's wrong with the black community. We'll talk about the Latino community, the Asian community, the South African community. But when I say one thing against the Jewish community, oh my God, I'm the worst Jew ever. So it's just weird to me. I've been the biggest supporter of my community on this app, bar none. Got fucking death threats. My family's been threatened because I'm a fucking Zionist.
Ooh.
But you want to question my Judaism? Fuck you. You open rooms and stand up for Israel. But I'm going to call out what's wrong. Listen, Abby's in the room. I love Abby. She's a proud Zionist. I have no problems with that. She's not going to talk on what I talk on, and that's fine. She has a different perspective, lived experience than me. But this is some bullshit. We're going to go popcorn style, guys.
Cool. Who want to get in there? You can let him back up too, Jay, if you want to, man. My friend, I think he's trying to get up here. I can't let him up. They say, I think he's an ex-Stone Star.
I can't either. Maybe Nye could bring him up.
Nye, if you could bring my friend up.
I just invited him.
Yeah, if I could say one point.
Yeah, we want to get it to CO. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, man. These are hard conversations.
Good morning, brother.
Hey, man, King, how are you doing, man?
Man, I'm blessed. How about yourself? Yeah,
man, trying to work through it all, man. A little loopy this morning, but so please forgive me. But no, I just heard the conversation. I don't have much to say. But I think this is probably one of the first spaces and places that I've ever heard personally this conversation happening, right? Good, bad, or indifferent. It's just a different conversation than we ever have in any public space, no matter the size of the room. And I just wanted to make a couple of points on it. One is I've understood this reality for most of life, but it's just unpopular to discuss it, right? Whereas the people talk about racism, anti-Semitism, but don't understand the disparities in how we deal with race in America or bias. But, you know, I actually, to some extent, have been a fan of what Jewish people do with regards to not allowing anybody to defame their community, right? And, you know, having the Anti-Defamation League is called what it's called, meaning that I've always imagined that the reason that is because the conditions in Nazi Germany weren't about the physical things, but rather the preconditions of how they were demonized that created a society that turned their head when people were treated a certain way. And I always imagined, not being a part of that community, that the never again will we allow people to demonize us in a way that makes us like roadkill. And so that's my fear with the black community, being, you know, black guy, that I see parallels in terms of how people are publicly, black or white, able to punch down on us like a sport. And so sometimes I know it's done in the spirit of we just need to get you together, but that's not how young people are hearing it. That's not how other people are hearing it. That's not how other cultures are hearing it. And some of the information that's used is just incorrect. If I'm really honest, I wish my community acted more and in a way of not allowing anti-black rhetoric to proliferate freely without any consequence, because I think people quote unquote mean well, but I think we should look at these things and kind of sort of, figure out a way to understand that if you hear somebody using the current administration consistently call people, Africa shithole countries, or Haitians eat cats and dogs, if you hear that for years and every day, why would you look up if somebody gets shot on the streets? It's like roadkill. You just keep moving. So I think the sensitivity and humanity that we need needs to be a part of every race. So I think JB has a point. Holding a mirror is one thing, but then I also think Jewish people have a point in terms of not letting people demonize your culture. I'll stop there.
Thank you, CO. So here's the deal. I think every community is open to criticism, but the hypersensitivity that comes out of the Jewish community, bro, just read the chat. He's not really a Jew. He just came out after October 7th. No, maybe because it wasn't safe for me to come out before then. Maybe it allowed me to get into spaces and hear what people really think. See, I don't want nobody to come up on my stage and be modded in my space and say, I love Jews, and then go to another room and call for the extermination of Jews. I want to know who my enemies are. Nicole, you want to say something?
Yeah. To CO, what CO was saying, I do agree with that. But here's another part to that, CO, is that unfortunately with the Black community, we don't listen. We don't listen, even if this room was all Black and we were talking to each other, we don't listen. There's no shame, there's no standard. It's gone out the window. And although it hurts, it feels like a bunch of needles stabbing you in a room full of people that are not us. That's how it is. And so people just get tired and they just say it. They just say it wherever they say it. We can't say it when we're together. We can't say it when we're amongst family. We can't say it in the church. We can't say it. The only thing we can do is denigrate each other in music. But then when we try to have a conversation with family, we still can't say it. So when are they going to listen? When are they going to listen? Because they hear it when they hear it from other people. They hear it when they hear it from people saying it amongst other people. But they never hear it when we're talking to them directly. And I'm not trying to make this about Black people. I'm just responding to what you're saying. Like, we would love to say what we're saying to our people and they actually hear it. Just like JB is saying, look, why is it they can have self-criticism of their group, but then when we have self-criticism, we can't. The difference is Jews have standards. And it's known there's certain things we're not going to accept in this community. So if another group has something to say about us, we're dealing with that because we already deal with our own people. The problem is we don't deal with our own people. None of them want to be told anything. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, screw you. You didn't grow up like I grew up, screw you. You don't believe what I believe, screw you. You don't vote like I vote, screw you. So the Jews are, when they come out, I don't care if they have inner turmoil, we don't know, because when they come out, they're all on one accord. How can you get on one accord with people who don't want to be on one accord? If you don't agree with their dysfunction and their mindset, they're done. You're a sellout. That's it. End of discussion. How do you move forward? How do you move forward as a society if every group was like that?
I have a question for you.
And I would love to respond back when I...
hold on, W. Let's see. I'll have the dialogue with them, and I'll come back to you, W. Guys.
Hey, Nicole, let me first say I hear you. And I hear that you as a human, have the profile of what you said has a voice. And and JB heard me yesterday in that tense conversation we had say that, for what it was worth, our culture has not listened to the quote unquote fatigue of people that don't want to hear about slavery, don't want to hear about what we're going through, don't want to hear about our quote unquote victimization. And I understand there's a voice and that we should, as a community, listen. But I just wanted to just point out really quickly the peril of what you said. Like, if you really put what you said together with what some people have said, right? You're saying not some Black people, even JB and the reconciliation with the gentleman or whatever, because I think JB's a really powerful guy, and what he's doing is noble. But at least they said some Jews. They consistently said some Jews. But typically when we're on here, you basically, even though you don't realize it, you basically said all Blacks are dysfunctional. All Blacks don't listen. All you've alluded to rap music. You said several disparaging things, and you just said it's the problem of all blacks, right? And I'm just, and then King, who I've really, been a fan of some of the things King has said. I haven't heard him but a few times here, but even King said blacks don't have the IQ to do it, even though he didn't mean it that way. My point is the language and how we've come to use it is just dangerous because it paints a picture that lumps all black people together, meaning if you have a certain color skin or a certain phenotype, then you are this way. And I think we should make caveats to understand that you're not talking about all black people, because I just sat here and listened to you, Nicole, and I am black. And there's a lot of blacks that listen. There are a lot of blacks that are educated. There's a lot of blacks with high IQs and a lot of blacks that are accomplished. So I'm just saying I don't like the way that we've come to this social norm of anti-blackness for the sake of accountability, running rampant, and I really think we should stop it. One other point, if I could. Thank you, Nicole, for your point. I did hear you, no pun intended, but I did want to allude to something JB said before I close the mic really quick. And JB said that in order to get into spaces, because he understands the nuances of how the world works, he just didn't announce who he was, right? Here's the crazy thing, and this is the disparity between cultures, right? That's unique to my culture. Nowhere I can go in the world that I can denounce or undo or be invisible with this dark brown skin that I am and the bias that comes with it. I'll land there.
So let me respond to you, and let me respond to you because you weren't here an hour ago, maybe an hour and a half ago. My first comment that I said when I came off the mic was that when we had a lot of these discussions need to be said amongst family. But when we come in general spaces, I am kumbaya because I'm not going to hang out our dirty laundry in front of everybody. I'm not. And I'm not going to do it for the sake of being friendly. And that's what a lot of people want. I think that you let your community off and you don't recognize the thugs and the thoughts in your community if you don't come in here and throw them under the bus. That's a lot of sentiment going around in Clubhouse, and I don't agree with it. I said that I'm not going to throw my people up under the bus to be cool with you. But I'm also not going to lie, CO. I'm just not going to lie. And it is what it is. And our community, and I don't have to say all, because I think you're intelligent enough to know that I'm not talking about all black people, because I'm the one that always says we are not a monolith. We're all different. I'm the one that always makes that argument. But I'm not going to sit up here and lie and say that our people will listen. They won't. And that's why it's so refreshing to hear they don't. And you want me to say all, not all. But there are some of us who will not listen. And it's refreshing to hear JB say, I'm calling out my people, because it seems like on this app, only black people have the heart to address each other on the app. And it's refreshing that he's calling out his, and I'm here like, yes, finally somebody else calling out their folks. Like somebody else being called out their name because they're holding their people accountable. Just finally, somebody else is doing it, because it seems like we're the only ones. And when we have all black rooms, CO, they still don't want to be held accountable. And I'm sorry if that hurts to say it in mixed company, but I say it wherever. I guarantee you I have the same heart and passion, and I'm very, very parallel on every room. Every room I go to, I'm going to say the same thing. It's not going to differentiate because white folks are in the audience, because Jews in the audience, and Latinos. I'm going to say it with my whole chest. I'm going to tell you I vote for Trump. I'm going to tell you I love Jesus. I'm going to tell you I'm pro-life in every single room. And if that hurts people's feelings, it just does. Because in our community, if you don't agree with the collective, the larger collective, then you're a sellout. And people are tired of that. Because how do we get better with that? That's just like the United States on a larger scale. How do we get better with that? JB is telling his people, how do we get better with that? You hate anti-Semitism, so let's break it down. That's all I'm saying.
JB, can I ask you and Nicole a question though? You could call anybody, just JB really quick.
Go ahead.
Is there any history anywhere of a culture that runs this model and becomes, kind of sort of moves on, right? Because basically, I think black people have a bigger burden to be ambassadors for other black people. Meaning, people say, I got to hold myself responsible, even though the stuff that Nicole's speaking about with black people doesn't apply to me, but I got to be accountable just because I got brown skin. So I guess what I'm saying is, this ambassadorship just by default because you're born with a particular race or ethnicity. We talk about history all the time, right? I would love to know if anybody has any historical data that says if you announce that your culture ain't shit in front of everybody, then that's going to make you more accountable and put you as a better person. This whole concept of, is it the Romans, the Etruscans, the Egyptians, I don't know, the early Confederate.
I don't know if historically if it ever works, but I just felt the responsibility to say what I said. Now, people don't have to agree with it. I guarantee you 95% of the Jews on this app will never speak to me again. I don't give a fuck. Then those aren't the people I want around me anyway. But unless we ask the questions, how do we get the answers? Unless we call out our own community. Listen, it's easy for me to open these rooms, right? And we can talk on black plight, Puerto Rican plight, South African plight all day long. But why is it a problem when I speak on my community, from my community? Is it like a dirty little secret I'm not supposed to expose?
I don't think it's a problem, but I'd like to hear at least one example of Jewish racism.
I said it was my lived experience.
Can we give an example from your lived experience?
Yeah, I've seen Jewish people turn down black people for apartments because they didn't want blacks in the building. That's my lived experience. Now, once again, I said it's my lived experience. Not all Jews are like that. Most Jews aren't. But when I was asked the question, in your lived experience, what community have you seen the most racism from? I said, in my community. That's exactly what I said. It's my lived experience. I've seen it. W, go ahead, man. You've been patiently waiting.
Yeah, it's fine. Basically, if anybody, no matter what religion you are, no matter what race you are, you make a mistake or you do something that is harmful to others, we have the right to correct it or rectify the affair. Doesn't matter if you're a Muslim, you're a Christian, or a Jew. You can speak about it and rectify. That's the first point. But I want to ask you guys a question. I'm living in the UK. Don't get offended, yeah? I'm just curious with that question. In the UK, I'm living with different community, but the Jews in some cities, they keep themselves. So the question, why don't they interact with the community, with the people, with the Christian, with the Muslim? I see them in some cities, they keep themselves to themselves. For example, they have their own ambulance, doctors, hospital, places. So my question, why don't they interact with the people around us?
I think you're talking about a group of ultra-Orthodox Jews.
Yeah, Marshall, hold on. Let the rabbi answer this because this is his lane.
Yeah, I think there's some historical reasons for that. Like after emancipation and modernity hits, some Jewish communities rejected modernity and rejected the integration that Enlightenment brought with it, and they became very insular communities. These are mostly very Orthodox communities, ultra-Orthodox communities, and given the history for the Jews over the past couple hundred years, and even before that, there is a suspicion. I'm not saying it's founded or legitimate or anything like that. There is a suspicion of the majority society when it comes to these insular groups, and they feel more comfortable having their own doctors inside in-house and all these various things. So I don't think that's a representative of the majority Jewish community. I think most Jews in the West have what's the word I'm looking for? Have assimilated to the point where they're functional in society with non-Jews, with black people, with Oh, and by the way, parentheses, I just need to say, there's black Jews, there's Latino Jews, there's Chinese Jews, there's Indian Jews, right? So we shouldn't necessarily have this divide between Jews and black people. That's artificial. I think that's really important.
Hello guys, how are you? What's up?
So W, I hope that answers your question, right? There's some historical reasons for this, and I think there are legitimate reasons for Jewish communities to be suspicious or skeptical or fearful.
Okay, I got part of the answer, but the question is this. Okay, for doctors, maybe you want to have your own doctors. It's not a big deal for me. But the question is, why don't you interact with the people to welcome them into your community, for example? Doesn't matter. For example, I'm a Muslim, right? So as a Muslim, I welcome anybody to the mosque, for example. I welcome, even I've spoken to Christian, even atheists. I welcome them. You know, we have some food together. I invite them. I said a door's open. But what I notice about the Jews, and not, as you mentioned, not all the same. I agree with you. But my question is, why don't you allow people to enter to see what's going on? At least have a window.
I think, Abby, hang on 1 second. Hold on, Abby, 1 second. I think when you have individual relationships, people get invited to synagogue and to Shabbat and to holidays all the time, right? Part of what I think we're talking about here is community to community and not person to person, right? And I've experienced in my life, right, in the person to person relationships, there is that welcoming bit. You know, you also have to consider and put this where it goes. I'm not sure where it goes. Jews don't proselytize. So the desire to, right, the kind of, when we get together, we're getting together for our thing and whatever. People are welcome at synagogue. People are welcome in Shabbat dinners. We're happy to share the tradition. And we are vigilant about people that we don't know showing up at the door for good, legitimate reasons. For safety reasons. So there's a tension. So there's a tension built, right? So I think there's a tension built in there to how Jewish community functions, how we are feeling these days safety-wise, and who we know and who we don't know, right? So I'll land here. The relationships between people, between neighbors, these are the things that help societies live together and become integrated and things like that. It's tougher to do on like a larger scale, community to community. But I think if we can build those relationships, then we're going to do much better.
Let me jump in here real quick. Abby, I got you. I'm actually coming to you now. So Abby, and I'm being as honest and sincere as I've ever been. You know I love you. I have nothing but respect and admiration for you. But what I said today, right, I meant. And it's just been my lived experience. My Jew card's going to get pulled today. I guarantee no Jew on this app's going to fuck with me. They're going to forget the thousands of rooms I ran for pro-Zionists, the thousands of dollars I raised for hostages' families. But when I call out the racism that I've seen in the Jewish community, they don't like that. It's like a secret I'm not allowed to expose. Now, it's just been my lived experience, Abby. But I also say, there's really good Jews out there. Somebody like you, somebody like Rabbi. I'm not saying all Jews are racist. I'm just saying the ones I've experienced. But Abby, welcome to the room. The mic is yours.
I mean, I didn't hear you say it. I'm like totally focused on what's going on with Iran. So it's not where I'm coming from, but I wanted to answer the physician in the room. So I'm part of an international organization, but it's mostly based in Israel, that is on the ground EMTs, and it's physicians that are Jews, Muslims, and Christians, and they're volunteer, and it's called United Hatzalah, and the doctors work with each other very closely. The the physician communities are incredibly close. You can Google, you can read all about it. We use ambucycles, and we're able to get on an emergency scene within 90 seconds using a very big motorcycle that has ambulance supplies on it. Again, our volunteers are Muslim, Christian, and Jewish. We also have these throughout. Sorry, I'm going to turn. Anyway, we have these throughout the world, and we work with physicians that are volunteers that are Muslim, Christian, and Jewish, and Baha'i, and Hindu. So I wanted to respond to you. I'm not going to get into the stuff Kelev said. I think what he said was great. But with respect to physicians, and I'm also a professional, and I work in a professional field as a lawyer, and we don't have boundaries in our professions. I have not seen those boundaries. So I'm not sure what you're seeing in your profession. I know there's many Muslim physicians at Long Island Jewish and at Mount Sinai Hospital and at many of the Jewish hospitals. I also know Jewish physicians that work at a lot of the Catholic hospitals. I don't see where those barriers are on the professional, and I would tell you to reach out. But if you look at the bigger Jewish hospitals, or when I say Jewish, ones that are founded by Jewish organizations originally, or still have the involvement from the Jewish community. The hospital staff, actually in the United States, a lot of the hospital staff are not even born in the U.S. A lot of them are from outside of the States. But I have not seen it in the medical community, and I definitely know United Hatzalah, a lot of our volunteers, and sadly, on October 7th, a lot of our medics and volunteers that died saving lives were Muslim doctors that were part of our system. And I went for one day.
Everybody, hold on.
I'm going to say one thing and then I'm going to jump off. As an American, we all have to realize what's going on right now. And as everyone's talking about this being an Israel thing or a Jewish thing, we are dealing with a regime since 1979 that has threatened death to America, that has focused their entire regime on wiping out Western civilization and America. And we as Americans cannot lose sight of that, because we are the great Satan to them. And I pray for peace, and I pray that they never have nuclear weapons so they can come and attack us. And I just want to end with
Thank you. Everybody, hold on. Debbie,
May I ask a question?
Yes, you may, Rambo.
I pray our government takes care of this, takes care of it right away. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. Rambo, go ahead.
Thank you. I just been listening, and I just noticed like the conversation is very like individualized based, and I just wanted to know that, like, as far as just information added to the conversation, like especially like about the things that Nicole was saying and the Jewish thing, like, are we gonna reference like the most Jews, even the secular ones, go by like the rabbinic traditions and Talmudic traditions? So would that have anything to do with like the racism in their community, just based on their traditions and in their books have like racist traditions?
Rabbi, you want to answer that?
Everybody that holds ancient scripture and has been around a long time has some racist stuff in their past. Are some people going to be racist because of that? Yeah. Does that mean the entirety of the tradition is somehow like, illegitimate because those traditions exist? No. I think what you want to look at is how are those traditions used today? Like in Jewish schools, in synagogues, are rabbis and teachers preaching? Hey, are they preaching the curse of Ham, for example, right? Which isn't really just as an example. No, they're not, by and large, right? We're not talking about that stuff. So is it possible people are relying on the traditions in certain parts of the tradition to sort of justify their racism? Absolutely. But I wouldn't say that means that the tradition overall is racist, or that's even a mainstream, strategy.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Like for example, like when the guy asks like, why aren't the average people just like invited to the synagogue and things like that? But wouldn't the answer be mostly like in the traditions or in the book it says like you're not allowed to allow others to even like examine your material, and they're not really supposed to?
Let me answer you quickly, and I want to put something to bed on this. It's really important that you hear this. We had 850 bomb scares last year at our synagogues. If we're not real inviting when a stranger comes to the door, and our armed guards that are in front trying to protect us are not super inviting to a stranger, and we ask them who they are and for ID, you might understand what we're in the middle of and what we're going through. We are in a very bad time right now with security. Again, last year alone, 850 bomb scares in the United States at synagogues. You think there is a reason we have a guard at every synagogue, every Jewish day school, every Jewish community center. We just can't let a person walk in without knowing who they are. We have a training that we do. the power of hello. We talk to everyone that's at our door. We find out who they are. We have had threats. We have had Molotov cocktails. We have had fires set. I mean, I can go on and on. So I hope you understand why we might ask someone who they are before they come in.
No, I completely understand that. I completely understand that, but can I just respond, please? I completely understand that. I'm a Black American, right? And so the only issue I would have with that is that is true on one hand, but obviously, like I said, I'm a Black American, so our community, if by that thinking, like our community should have armed guards at every gate. But the only difference is but let me finish though. Let me finish, please. But the only difference is, like, to speak to Nicole's point, the only difference is, to be honest, the Jewish community has infiltrated the Black community at such rates, like as far as the music industry and just any entertainment or everything, basically, just our narrative, basically, the Jewish influence on the Black narrative. So it's kind of contradictory to how one hand it's like the hand up halt, but on the other hand it's such an infiltration into our community and such propaganda pushing into our community that it makes Nicole think that the Black people are this and that and the Jewish people are so great. But in truth and reality, it's mostly that the propaganda that the Jewish people push that will make a Black person feel that way.
I wanted to give it to famous lady.
Wait a second. Everybody hold on 1 second. We're going to go to Miss Nicole. Then I want to get El Normo and then famous. Okay, Miss Nicole.
Thanks, JB. I'm not.
Yeah, I wanted to, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm not responding to that because everybody knows I do a lot of work in the Black community, so I don't care about people who because they don't agree with me. Now all of a sudden I hate Black people. Like I'm not going down that road with y'all. Anyway, so to Abby, my heart goes out to you. What I will say, and I'm not saying this is you, Abby, but I'm just trying to bring this back home. Abby, my heart goes out to you. But as a Black American, that has been our experience every day of our lives. It's constantly under attack. And my heart goes out to you. So then, by extension, I want to say, why are Blacks and Jews going at it? Why are we looking at each other like the enemy and not banding together? See, a lot of Jews look at us, Black Americans, as the ones that are bringing these activities against this harm to your group. That is not us. I guarantee you that is not what we're thinking about. I promise you, Abby. That is not what we're thinking about.
But it's quite the opposite, though. That should be acknowledged.
Hold on. I'm not addressing that. I'm talking to Abby. And so what I'm trying to say is, why are we looked at as Jews' enemy?
You're not but I mean, to this person who's talking to you, that's the last thing I think. And I'm old enough to have lived through the Black Power movement and been part of a different time in America. So I totally, not only do I understand what you're saying, I started off talking about security. I also told you that we're all Americans and we're under a threat right now. And it doesn't matter if we're Asian, Black, Jewish, Hispanic, Italian, whatever we are, like, we've got a regime that wants to kill all Americans. Some idiot in the chat said this is a white man's war. It is not. Our army, look at who makes up our army, look at who lives in our country, so we're all in this together. That's and I don't want to sound like rah-rah American, but they're threatening our whole nation. But I 100% agree with you. It's a horrible new normal. Our children, my ultimate grandchildren, will only know to go to synagogue with armed guards and metal detectors. They will never know how to walk into a temple any other way. The Mormon church down the street from my house, they don't have to deal with that. So it's a horrible normal that we're in, and we hope that it changes, and we hope the hatred goes away and we get back to normal. And thank you. And if you were running for office, I'd vote for you because your point of view are fabulous.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you, Nicole. So I'm going to go to Famous, then El Normo. Good morning, Famous.
Good morning, guys. So I just want to say I am Guyanese and Rican. I do classify as Black. With that being said, I have resided in Williamsburg, Brooklyn for about 10 years of my life. Williamsburg, for a lot of those who know, are segregated. One side of it is Jewish community, and then the other side is about Hispanic and mixed, you know. The side that I resided in was the Jewish side. With that being said, I know there are a lot of you know, back and forth in the sense of, oh, they don't like outsiders, you know, they are not welcoming. Now, I've experienced both parts of that entirely. Now, I experienced the side where I don't know what part of the day it is, or what it's called rather, but every Friday, like about 7 p.m., you know, you can't, they no longer touch their ovens. They don't open the stuff to take it out. They don't work. Shabbat, yes. So like with that, you know, if they know you, or even if they don't know you, but they know that you're American, so to speak, okay, and you're around them, they will use you in that regards, and they'll knock on the doors and they'll ask you, can you assist us? And in that regards, you know, I'm taking things out of ovens for like multiple people, like my door's being knocked on every 2 minutes kind of thing, just because they know that I'm American and able to assist them, right? So I've also experienced encounters where I go to the home, and as soon as I go to the home, you know, some of the elders are just running to the side. Like they don't want to be in my presence. Okay, so I know what it is to feel the disgust along with, you know, the can you help me? But I haven't really endured the side of, you know, the such welcoming, you know, like, let me say, if I were to ask my neighbor a billion times, hey, can you take something out the oven for me? I think personally, I would be the one to say, hey, let me make a second thing because I want to help. I want to give to this person because they're helping me. You know, I think it's more of a sense of a woe is me, and a lot of the times as to why, you know, people feel as though like, oh, they're targeting me, or, you know, they're coming here. I heard, I believe it was Miss Abby who had said, you know, there's a lot of threats that are going to those synagogues and things of that sort. And that's very much understandable. But there's also transpired in every community, if we're going to take it to that regards, you know, like, there are some people that, you know, are not as welcoming for that reason, understood. But at the same point, if you are supposed to be a light, right? You're supposed to be a reflection of, you know, you advise that it's of Christ and godly and things of that sort that you guys are following, then you should have that Christ-like mentality. You know, I think, yes, okay to say, I need to question who this person is versus questioning them in a disgusted manner. So it's more so of not what you say, but how you say it. And I think that's a big part of it, right?
Thank you, Famous. Everybody, hold on. We have a cue. Famous, great share. Famous, check this out. I'm a Jew. I'm a Zionist. I support Israel. But you know how many times I walk through Williamsburg and I get followed by a crowd because I don't fit into that narrative over there?
Well, that's a very specific
Shut up.
Judaism.
Okay. See, this is what I mean, that you have no fucking mic control. Stay in the audience. Please don't bring that idiot back up. Let me welcome El Normo to the stage. El Normo, how you doing?
Good morning. Good morning.
El Normo, I hope at the end of this conversation we're still friends.
What's going to threaten that? Look, you don't want to pay me back the $5? Don't pay me back. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it.
I'm a cheap Jew. What do you want me to say? But, so I made a statement earlier, and I stand on it, because I was asked in my room yesterday, what community do you feel is the most racist? And I didn't hesitate. I said, my community, because it's been my lived experience, what I've seen. Now, that doesn't say all Jews. I know that and I'm gonna dox you a little bit, just a smidge. You've won awards from the NAACP. Maybe you're a different type of Jew. But I know with my lived experience, I've seen the racism. But the mic is yours.
Well, so one thing I'm hearing here is that people don't understand who we are or why we are the way we are. And it is complicated. Like the last beautiful person who spoke said that we're supposed to be more Christ-like, maybe. which I was laughing about that because we're not Christians. Now, this nice lady who spoke, she's obviously living among the Satmar Hasidim. That's a special group. What is special about them? Because we're trying to strike the balance between not losing our identity and living in the world of the Christian nation, as it were, or the non-Jewish people. The people you're talking about, they can only touch certain kinds of food. They can't touch if you're a guy, you're not supposed to touch a woman. You're not even supposed to look too much at a woman because your thoughts are not supposed to stray from holy things. Those people go to synagogue 3 times a day for 20 to 45 minutes every day, and all day on Shabbos. You'll see they wear their special clothes on Shabbos, their finery. So they don't want to lose their kind of connection to God. That's the Satmar Hasidim. Then there are Jews who grew up more like me, that their survival technique is to build a little bit of a moat around their community. And they walk to shul, and like you say, they can't touch the lights on Shabbos or something. And I'm pretty sure they give you money when it's not Shabbos. I imagine that would be the normal procedure. And thank you for helping them. I'm sure they thank you.
Never.
So
for
me,
never.
You never got a thank you?
Thank you. Yes, of course. Thank you.
Okay.
You're taking something out for them. So yes, but what you said in regards to the other stuff, no.
And the reason why they probably wouldn't make you another one is they wouldn't know if this is the kind of food you like, because the food they eat is very specific, extremely specific. It can only contain certain ingredients. It can only be in certain kinds of dishes. You can't mix two ingredients. It's very complicated. And they do this and we do this to try to be more in line with what God wants us to do. And there's a lot of details. It could be confusing, but you can always talk to them if you're still there. And if you take my number and I'll facilitate it, because we are used to being regarded with suspicion and hatred and fear. Those people there, they're living very much in the shadow of the Holocaust. This community grows up and comes to this country as a response almost to the persecution, the pogroms, which are riots against us, and the Holocaust. So they're very, very, very cautious.
Or is it just
in
playing?
This way with outsiders because of the way we've been treated. Now, my way growing up was to be assimilated more, to try to, I went to school with Christian friends. These guys don't. They only learn in Hebrew. And I wasn't as strict in my practices, and only now am I coming back to the more observant practices. And only now I'm figuring out who I am and what it means to be who I am. So our identity is complicated, and the normal reaction, I think, the way men and women are wired evolutionarily, is we fear and mistrust those who are different than us. So you hear a lot of stuff of, oh, you're from here? Well, I don't like those people. I'm not talking about Jews now, I'm talking about people. Or you're, for example, a black American born here? Okay, well, that's different. I'm a black person from this country outside of the U.S. This tension. So wherever we're different, there'll be tensions. Oh, you're a Latino from PR? That's different from a Latino from DR. So part of it is just a normal human misunderstanding of those who are different. And part of it for us is the history of oppression, as Abby was saying. So that's where I'll leave it there. No, I don't think the Jewish people are racist. I know we regard others now with a lot of caution out of necessity. And that might come across as what you thought it was discussed, but it might also, we get very anxiety provoking to try to keep all these laws because there's so many of them. Anyway, that's a first little bit of my thoughts that I'm sharing.
If I may just respond briefly. Okay.
Famous.
So So one, I do want to thank you in regards to breaking it down regarding the food portion even. Like that's good to know that it's just different meals, things of that sort. And maybe that is what it is, that you're saying. So I am an open-minded person. I can take that into consideration. Even things as much as light switches and stuff like that were asked, to be turned off. So that, of course, always, I'm a very giving person. Naturally, I would say yes, kind of thing. So that portion, it is what it is, But in regards to, feeling like it's, the racism portion and it not being of disgust, like I've legitimately seen, them walk next to someone of my complexion, but the moment they see someone of a darker complexion, and I can say because in my family we are of all shades and colors, and I have the darkest of the dark and the lightest with the lightest of eyes, so I would walk down otherwise or see a relative that I'm meeting at a corner or something to pick up, and they will legitimately run across the street like if let me get the heck out of here because, maybe something's about to happen to me. Maybe that's in the manner that they're thinking, but I can also feel in the sense of like when they're in groups of people and they just like, they hurry up and like just move to the side, one person versus multiple, I don't feel that would be something, that you should run across the street for, So I think, while you may have lived that and it have been like the norm for you, it's not necessarily the norm for us. And so in turn, it's just a little different, and it feels more so as racism versus, just respect
before anybody before we respond, King, Nye, Sig, are you there? Yeah. The mods there?
Yeah, we're here.
I gotta get going. You guys want to keep it open? Sig, yes, no?
Yeah, I don't want to run it myself, but if the other mods want to.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to be the black face running a Jew.
Right.
So go ahead and shut it down, bro.
All right, Norm, you want to respond? Then I'm gonna shut it down.
I'm available for a while.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, mod Norm, man. Mod him.
Hold on. Let me mod Norm. All right, guys, have a great day. See you guys later.
All right, take it easy, Jerky. And whoever texts me saying JB's trying to run, I seen that.
I agree.
Who wants to go next?
I have a question, please, before I go. So basically, I disagree or against any crime from any community or any race or religion. For example, I'm against the Houthis, what they're doing. Okay, for example, they believe even what they are doing. Okay, I'm against even some of the Hamas, not all, some of the Hamas what they're doing. But my question is this: the main question is, what in Israel when they're killing the Palestine? Do you think that's correct? I'm not gonna ask you this question 1,000 times maybe. But I just want to understand you guys' mindset. The Israel killing innocent women and kids, and randomly, not like giving them even a time to escape from a specific place, and they have killing like thousands and thousands of innocent babies, mothers. They demolished hospitals, schools, and that. So my question: Do you agree with this as a Jew? If you're a Jew.
Anybody want to answer that? Shout out to the crickets.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was speaking. I was muted. W, I'm so glad you asked the question, because I think it's important for us to hear the ways in which other people have been fed. Hang on, I had to turn off my audio. Other people have been fed a bunch of propaganda bullshit. So the enemy has been very successful at getting out a bunch of TikToks and about YouTubes and about telling a bunch of lies in order to show the world, oh, these are bad people. The truth is that this war could have ended on October 10th of 2023 if they gave our people back. They took our people and they ran away. Little babies, women, old people from the Holocaust. They slaughtered them and then they took the rest away. And they could have stopped it if they gave them back and or if they surrendered. But they said to us, we're going to do it again and again, W. And then they took our people and they hid under hospitals. And of course, we photographed this and videotaped this. And they hid under schools and they launched rockets from the schools and from the press offices and from the residential buildings. But the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, has been really careful about only shooting when we could minimize the loss of civilian life. And if you look and you see how much tonnage of bombs have been dropped on buildings where they have tunnels, which the whole place has got like these tunnels underneath, the percentage of civilian life has been the lowest in any military campaign. And Israel has always tried to keep it really low. So I don't know, a lot of the figures coming are from Hamas, which the whole point of this operation was to make Israel look really bad in the eyes of the world. So that's my answer, W.
Yeah, if I can make a quick comment. L, I love you, man, but I think you're majorly incorrect on here. You know, I personally, you could look at, a good way to figure out information is go to Snapchat and find people that are in different locations, what they're recording. And what's happening right now in Gaza is people are being prevented aid. Aid is being prevented. And yeah, what happened with the attack on October 7th is sickening, despicable, 100%. But what has been happening in Gaza is also sickening, 1,000%. And what you're saying is, I personally believe what you're talking about is propaganda too, false propaganda. People in Gaza are being tortured right now. They don't have access to life-saving stuff. That is real. And my heart goes out to everyone in Israel that was kidnapped, tortured, attacked, the family members. My heart goes out to them. I mean, Hamas's actions are not good. I disagree with that 100%. That being said, is what also is terrorist act? Leadership of Israel, not the people. Leadership of Israel. They create terror on Gaza and has been.
Okay.
That is also true. So is Hamas.
I get it. David, once again, we're at war. This war is being conducted more compassionately than any war in the history of war. You are incorrect that they're being prevented from getting aid. The aid is being distributed by the ton. And the IDF and Americans, because Americans are in there now distributing it too, it is our task to prevent the aid from falling into the hands of Hamas, which was stealing the aid and selling it then to their own people at greatly inflated prices. And this was a way that's making the war longer. We could have had we had a choice on October 7th. We could have flattened the place, frankly. We say take out a city. You can see what we can do in Iran right now. We could take out a whole city in a day. We could have taken out the whole city, but we didn't. We said, please move over here. We sent them pamphlets. We knocked on their roofs. We sent them text messages, and we called them on the phone. We said, move away. The IDF has to come in and get rid of the terrorists. They're hiding in a tunnel into your house, or they're hiding in your offices. Sometimes an IDF soldier goes into a house. There's somebody shooting from the window at them. Then the person who's shooting passes, not in the uniform. So we don't know who it is, because again, it's a war crime. They're not using uniform. They pass the gun to their kid. Then the kid picks up the gun and points it. Or they pass the gun to their wife, and the wife picks up and points it. So it's a very unusual, it's a guerrilla situation. We did not want to be in there. They still have our people. And they said they did.
Can I respond to you?
Let me just land it in one more sentence. And they said that they're going to keep doing this again and again. Never did they surrender. So the cruelty is happening on the parts of Hamas, who are doing this to their own people, who did it to the Israelis. That, by the way, they killed black folks, they killed Asian folks, they killed African folks, they killed Russia. They didn't care. They killed everybody of every. We had Thai people working in Israel. They killed those people too. They just kill. It's a cult of death. They kill their own people. They want to make them into martyrs or shaheeds.
Can I say something?
It's an unusual situation. Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on.
Brother, let me respond.
I'm next. We hear the words from Abby, pulling at our heartstrings, talking about how her children and other Jewish children would have to go to synagogue with security, and that is saddening, but we cannot sit here and make it seem like certain Jews are not terrorizing certain neighborhoods, like the YouTube video that I just posted of the mob of Jewish kids that kicked and beat a girl out of a Brooklyn neighborhood.
So that justifies it, fellows coming in and doing bomb scares and SWAT?
I personally witnessed that. Like, I've personally witnessed living in Williamsburg.
It's not just like some peaceful. This is not just like
incidents. Whoa,
look at the FBI statistics. People, you know what I mean, that are being picked on.
What do I do to
beat this woman in Brooklyn? These are Americans.
Hold on, I don't know how we're going to talk at the same time. I'm going to let Othello finish.
No, because you triggered me, man. What did I do to deserve to have security? What did I do to hurt anyone?
So let him answer. Let him answer.
I just want to go and pray and eat kosher food.
So let Othello answer, Queen. Let him answer.
You see the entitlement? So, like I said, I never said you deserved any of that. But to sit here and make it seem like these are people that are being picked on, and these are just a group of peaceful people that don't do anything, when they're literally beating American girls. This is 50 Jewish kids beating one girl. If the security wasn't there, they probably would have killed her. Everybody can check that YouTube video.
Okay, Othello, how many Jews live in America? How many Jews live in America, Othello? How many Jews live in America? How many?
2 million.
Do you know? But that's a very dumbass comment, and that's an ignorant comment. So how many Jews live in America?
Wait, what's
too many? To say an answer like that? If you were to ask me that about blacks and I gave you that answer, that would be incredibly ignorant of me. So why would you say a comment like that? How many? I asked you how many. I asked you how many live in America.
Give me the answer. Give me the answer.
What do you think? How many live in the world? Do you know?
Now you're
How many Jews do you know?
How many live in America?
About 7 million.
Okay, I was off a little bit.
Okay, it's 2% of the population of the United States. Okay, if 50 kids are assholes, are there 50 black kids that are assholes? Are there 50 Italian kids that are assholes? 50 Greek kids that might be assholes? Excuse me, does that mean that we have to have that 900% spike in anti-Semitic incidents? 900% spike. And then the last year, 300% spike? No, it's not justified.
Okay,
it's not right. It's not right that anyone has to go and.
But we sidetrack from the main point, guys. Let's return to the main point.
But you have to allow the brother to respond.
Yeah, let them cook for
I get that she's passionate, and I understand it's a heated topic, and she has the right to air her grievances the same way the brother does. But I don't know how we're going to hear each other if we talk over each other. Othello, go ahead and respond.
Okay, so what has the theme of the room been? Self-accountability, community accountability, and so Sig and King have introduced, situations within the black community where we can be more accountable. JB as well has introduced the concept of subtle racism, and he even thinks Jewish people are the most racist group of people. So when we see things like this, and other people have said, even JB has said, when he goes to these neighborhoods, he's followed around as well. So this is not a one-off incident. So how can you be more accountable for your own Jewish people and their bullying tactics in America? Because that video is sickening. If there wasn't that one security guard there, she would have died.
I'll happily answer you. If someone breaks the law, they should be arrested. I'm a lawyer. That's the first thing you'll hear out of my mouth. If someone is breaking the United States law or a state law or a city ordinance, they should be arrested for it and convicted for it if they're guilty of it, no matter what ethnicity they are. I absolutely stand by that. And I would never support someone doing something like that. And no one ever should. You should never allow it in your community. No one should allow it in any community. It's against the law. It's a crime. So I'm not supporting that, but I'm not going to live a life for the rest of my life and my children's and my grandchildren's lives that they have to have 8 people dressed like SWAT guards protecting them to deter people from coming and attacking. And yes, I have been in Jewish places that have been threatened, many of them. I've had to evacuate. It's horrible, and we have to stop it. We don't want it for any group in America.
So hold on one second. I think famous lady wanted to respond to her real quick. Go ahead, famous.
So can I get Nikki to respond too?
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to say, right, like, while I do feel very sorry that, you know, your family has to endure that, right? I am glad that your family has the wealth to be able to have those security guards because, you know, not for nothing, we walk around in the streets on a day-to-day basis and we have to fear that regularly. So it's not just going to mosque or synagogue or whatever type of religion it may be that someone endures, but, you know, or rather chooses to follow. But, you know, like that's regular stuff. And 9 out of 10 of us can't, you know, live that lifestyle to be able to afford a security guard to go with us during those, you know, times. So I just want to say that, you know, that's, I'm grateful that that is the case for you, but that's, you know, not the case for everyone.
That was the
I'd rather take the money and build new I gotta go, guys. I'm at my destination. I'd rather take my money than pay for schools and summer camps and good things. Unfortunately, I gotta work hard, work my ass off, study my ass off to have money to pay for security, and that sucks.
Yes,
I wish you all a peaceful night. I gotta roll.
And we have to work our ass off so that we could just survive because we are the color that we are or the ethnicity that we are. And so in turn, you know, we have to work even harder to not even be able to get a quarter of, you know, some of the things that, you know, skin and religion.
Not only that.
Yeah, I want to give it to W, and then we want to give it to Ms. Clark.
Please.
I can keep it. I want to respond to. I want to respond to Othello.
Hold on a second.
But let me just make a point.
I'm not saying no blacks succeed or no other.
Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on a second. I want to give it to W, then I want to give it to Ms. Clark, then we're going to go back to Nye. All right, then we go back to Famous. Go ahead, W. Shout out to Famous.
Hang on for a second.
So one second.
Hold on one second.
Hang on. Thank you very much. So we just heard a narrative about a video in the chat about a girl. So I took a minute. I took I don't know what it is, 6 minutes, and watched it. And the propaganda and Jew hate surrounding even Othello, what you told us about this video, is pure bullshit. And I just want to call that out. So you saw this girl is, I'm going to tell you, this girl is being hounded. So what you saw was a woman with a cop around her shoulder protectively. Nobody touched her. Nobody was doing anything to her. Excuse me. All right, if you're going to interrupt me, I'm going to send you down.
Hold on, Othello.
If you're going to interrupt me, I'm going to send you down.
Norm, hold on one second. Norm. Hold on, man. Chill. It's all good. Everybody looking good. Let Norm finish, and Othello, we're moving around.
Okay, thank you for that. So I watched the video. Nobody's laying a hand on her. Here, this is what she's doing. And after a year and a half of us being slaughtered, right now, after a year and a half of people in this country jumping up and down and screaming death to the Jews, after protests on college campuses in favor of a genocidal terrorist organization named Hamas, after our kids not being able to go to school, while we're being slaughtered. This is even before we responded. They were out there with the placards saying, placards and signs saying that we should die and that there should be another intifada, which was a genocide against the Jews. So after a year and a half of being genocided on October 7th, and then having people in this country and around the world jumping up and down in favor of being genocide, she puts on a scarf
And that scarf is a symbol like the swastika or a Nazi symbol that says, kill all the Jews. They're very proud of their scarf. And she goes in among a bunch of Jews who dress a certain way out of a desire to be closer to God. They're just plainly in black and white. And it's like she's waving a Nazi swastika in front of people who are in the midst of a genocide. And the response was from the people around her, get the hell out with your filthy Nazi scarf. The cop put his arm around her. Excuse me.
Hold on, you know he's long-winded, bro. We trying to get him to...
Okay, I will try to finish. I'm trying to be accurate. So the cop puts his arm around her protectively, walks her to the police car, and again, she's walking the whole time. Sure, she's intimidated. She should be. She's waving a red flag at a bunch of people who are in the middle of being committed genocide upon. He puts her in the cab. He puts her in the cop car, and everybody cheers. That's what's on that video. So again, the bullshit narrative isn't going to fly, and all you got to do is watch the video.
There we go. So hold on one second, y'all. I want to give it to Othello, then we want to go to W, then I want to go to Miss Clark, then I want to go to Famous Lady. If we could, let's go to Othello, because he was kind of heated about that exchange. And make sure you share this room. I think this is the best conversation on Clubhouse right now.
Everyone can attest to this for the past 2 days. NY, I know you can attest to this. Norm has said the most egregious bullshit. From comparing Black Lives Matter to the Ku Klux Klan, also the gaslighting.
No, I never would do such. I never compared to the Ku Klux Klan.
They had finished the way you.
Also,
you can finish, but you can't lie about me. You can talk about himself.
Come on, Norm.
He said it. NY heard him. Also,
it's the El Normo show,
what we don't see in this video. Now, this is just one of the myriad of videos because she had to escape.
You can't complain here.
In that street, and like I said,
this isn't a customer service-based organization.
Worse. She had been kicked multiple times. She had been punched. She had been tugged at, and she had been fondled. This is true.
None of that is on the video, sir. You're lying.
There's a multitude. I can post the other ones. We've all seen it.
No, you haven't. It's a lie.
Let me tell you.
Watch the video. Everybody watch the video.
Norm, you're a liar. You were definitely in this room saying that the Black Lives Matter was equivalent to the KKK.
No, I did not. I
specifically said no. Come on, man. Let's keep it real. Come on, Norm.
Guys, let me speak, guys. Again,
Othello's not done, dog. It's all right.
Othello's got it, man. Let Othello finish. I'm going to finish up right now. So,